They are making a difference on 938 Live.
Project Blue Wave is a first-of-its-kind movement by PA Water Venture to promote and educate residents and communities in Singapore on environmental conservation. This year-long ground-up initiative led by Grassroots aims to encourage some 5,000 residents, specifically the youths, to take greater ownership of their environment. The campaign kicked off this past weekend with more than 300 participants in the first of a three-part signature event. Jill Tan, the operations manager of People's Association or PA Water Venture Pasir Ris, tells us more.
For Project Blue Wave, there's actually two segments, which is consisting of a kayak cleanup and a beach cleanup by the residents and the public. There were more than 100 kayakers from the schools and kayaking enthusiasts that paddled into Sungai Api-Api, and another 200 were on foot to pick up the litter in Pasir Ris Park. For this year, I was coordinating the kayak cleanup, and it was pretty much more memorable than the previous years as we hit a storm.
You hit a storm?
Yes, we hit a storm. This is
Right.
the first coastal cleanup that I've done so far since 2007, and there was a storm. Well, the rain actually brought us together. The community bonding and the togetherness displayed by those in the expeditions they still carry on with the cleanup, and it is something that I will remember for some time. We also picked up something that we didn't expect from the mangrove. It was an old rusty TV. Yes, it was a pretty big TV from the olden age where you have those cathode ray tubes. Yeah.
How did that end up in the mangrove?
Well, we suspected that somebody actually threw it along the road, and it got flown down the river, because this mangrove actually went through the housing estates in Pasir Ris. So
Right.
human litter. How did it end up there? We are also not so sure, and we are trying to find out more.
So exactly how much litter did you guys manage to pick up?
We do pick up about 1.5 bins. This is including the kayak and the land. So the litter that we pick up are usually the common ones, which is the plastic bags, straws, cigarette butts, glass bottles, canned drinks. The more special ones will be the TV, very huge barrier. These are the two main things that we pick up for this year.
So Jill, beyond the two activities that we saw over the past weekend that you guys carried out, what else are you actually trying to promote and educate in terms of the bigger public?
Well, we are trying to take this opportunity for Project Blue Wave to spread more awareness to the members of the public, and how we can educate them, and everybody can play a part in taking the ownership, doing something for the environment and make it a better place to live in.
When you say environment, are you talking about only our natural environment, such as our nature reserves, or even built-up areas?
Yes, for both. Basically, it is more of a waterways, because for Water Venture, we are doing most of our activities on the water itself.
And are our waters very dirty?
If they are not cleaned by our contractors, it can be pretty dirty, I would say that. So for now, for the reservoirs and the sea, it is still pretty much manageable. But on and off, after a heavy rain, we do see quite a bit of trash.
So for those of us who aren't into water sports, who don't have very much contact with Singapore's waters, how are you going to create that kind of ownership in us?
All right, for Project Blue Wave, we are also just started up the Water Venture Committee. So together with them, we are actually creating more activities and events to promote awareness. These activities need not be water-based. It can just be exhibitions or talks, and just a simple beach cleanup for people to be more aware of our environment, the litter, and the impact that they have.
You know, Jill, since you mentioned that there are organizations out there are people employed to actually clean up the waterways anyway. So people would be thinking, well, then it's okay for me to litter. How are you going to deal with reactions like that?
Well, basically, these people have to understand that how the litter are interconnected to us. For example, litter that flows into the sea, a fish eats them, and it eventually comes back to us. So trying to create this awareness that everything is interconnected before we can convince these people to take up a sense of ownership and do something that eventually will benefit them.
And that was Jill Tan, Operations Manager of PA Water Venture Pasir Ris, telling us all about Project Blue Wave. This has been They Are Making a Difference. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Daphne Lim.
They are making a difference on 938 Live.